Far and away, the most common thing that people who end up working with me through evolution mentoring are asking for is help to be more confident in themselves and to be more secure with themselves. And to do this requires many things. But one of the fundamentals I'm going to speak about right now is how to separate what's about you and what's about other people so that you can stop taking things personally that aren't. So you're not so much at the whim of the opinions and responses of others. So you stop mistaking opinions for facts. So let me show you how this works, how you separate what's about you and what's about other. So this is your kind of classic, college girl, high school girl, whatever, group of girls making fun of her and they're like, oh, you're ugly, right? So the girl hears that and this is what goes on inside of her head. They all say that. So she goes, oh my God, I'm ugly. Very typical, right? Here's a guy, right? Group of guys, bunch of dudes all pointing at him going, oh, you a loser. Of course they say you a loser because it's grammatically incorrect because dudes just have poor grammar. So you a loser. And what does the guy do? Takes it personally, takes their opinion as fact and goes, I'm a loser. But let me ask you this. These are kind of silly examples, but they are actually quite common, right? So my question is, this guy who's throwing out the insult, throwing out the criticism, who is this guy's comment about? Is it about him? Or is it actually about himself? And let me explain to you why I think it's actually about himself. See, where was this opinion generated? It was generated inside of his own head. It's his own perception of the world. It's his own decision to make that nasty comment to that guy in that moment. So it can only be information about the shit that's in his head. So therefore, whatever this guy says has to be information about himself. See, people's opinions are always a reflection of what's in their head. So if it's in their head, it means it can't be about you. It can only be information about themselves. And by the way, this is just as true if somebody gives you a compliment as is if somebody gives you some kind of negative criticism. They're only giving you their bias, their opinion, the thought that's in their head. Okay? So quick story for you. This woman tells me a story how she came to one of my programs and I introduced this concept. She's about 25 years old. And around the holidays that year, she got this sweater from somebody. And she wears the sweater to work. And somebody at work sort of makes this kind of snarky comment to her about, the sweater doesn't look particularly good on her, right? And she goes, in the past, I would have taken it personally and would have run to the bathroom and looked in the mirror and gone, oh my gosh, I look stupid. I got to go change my clothes. Been totally humiliated. She said, instead, I took it right away and go, oh, this is information about this woman. So I turn to the woman and I go, thank you very much for that information about your taste and your preferences. And I'll remember that when it comes to your birthday and I pick something out for you. And I was like, you really said that? She goes, yeah, I legitimately said it. I said, how did it go? And she goes, well, first of all, the woman was shocked, right, that I just put that on her. And she says, but the more important thing is rather than like go home and feel insecure, I feel pretty damn empowered in that moment. Okay? That's how you keep separate what's about you and what's about other. And at the deeper level of this is this really critical question, which is really coming to terms with whose opinions are going to matter to you and why. Because I don't espouse move through the world not caring about other people's opinions. I think that's socially irresponsible. And I think at a fundamental level, it's a stupid idea to not pay attention to how people are reacting to what we're putting out there. But the value that you place on people's opinions, the value that you place on their feedback, that you have control over. And the more you get clear about what's about you and why you value certain things and why you're allowing certain people to matter to you and take ownership of that and then take control over it, is the quicker you're going to start to become more secure and more confident in yourself. So fundamental number 2 of evolution mentoring is becoming very clear and really disciplined about separating what's about you and what's about others.